What's up, everyone? Riley here, and welcome back to the latest segment of Overkill Reviews, BangerTV's weekly heavy metal review show. If you haven't already, make sure to give us a like, give us a subscribe, and check out that dang Patreon. I'm really excited about this one today because I don't know if there's currently another band that is this far up my alley and the things that resonate with me. So let's jump into it. This is Faetooth's second full-length album. It's called Labrynthine, and it is out September 5th, 2025. Formed in 2019 and hailing from Los Angeles, California, Faetooth is a three-piece doom, sludge, post-metal trio. We've got vocalist and bassist Jenna, we have drummer Ra, and we have guitarist and vocalist Ari. The band has previously dubbed themselves as fairy doom metal and stated that they take a lot of inspiration from projects like Elder, True Widow, Chelsea Wolf, and Black Math Horseman. Previously to this album, they had an EP come out in 2019 called An Invocation, and their first album came out in 2022, and this one was called Remnants of the Vessel. So there's a lot of bands in my life that I've deeply connected with. Releases, songs, riffs, melodies that just seem to touch an unspoken primal piece of my psyche, sometimes for reasons unknown. But this was the first time when Remnants of the Vessel came out in 2022 that I had such a visceral and positive emotional reaction. So needless to say, I'm just ready to see what's in store for us on this new one. Mournful Pixieland. Straight to the point. One of the biggest, if not the biggest strengths that Faetooth carries in their toolkit is their ability to naturally blend two very, very different worlds into one while maintaining it sounding cohesive and balanced. And the band themselves has previously described this dynamic as a mix of ethereal noises, dream pop shoegaze, and then the heaviness of doom and sludge, creating a juxtaposition of heavy and soft. So the album kicks in with a track called Iron Gate, and immediately you're met with that slow and low opener riff that rings while those smooth and entrancing light vocals come in to begin that addition of whimsy on top of catharsis. And while this is what Faetooth seemingly gained recognition for in 2022, there seems to be a heavier fixation on this new album of these two mega dynamics coming together. So the depth and emotional nuance of tracks feels heavier. When intended to be rough, the riffs sound grittier and more rugged. The drums carry a more steady and low drone-like pattern to maintain that downcast environment. And when screams present themselves, they present as squeals and screeches. And in contrast, the delicacy of those clean vocals are intended to then be that much more fragile and that much more celestial. And something that also gives the vocals on this album just that much more is that they incorporate all three of the band members' vocals, whether that be with layering or harmonies, but it just gives it that much more guts. So this all presents very well as a positive execution in the band's adaptation. It looks like they recognized something that they did really well on this last album and then decided now to deliberately inherit and foster that to see what they can do and where they can take it and cultivate it in a more structured manner. And I think White Noise is a very good example of this. If you flip to the 135 mark, you can see these two worlds spinning and combining together as one. really be talking about a fairy doom band without lyrical significance that's embedded in mythology and imagination and otherworldly entities, experiences, and theme specifications to fit that atmosphere? Probably not. So not only is Faetooth having that ethereal and magic supernatural wonder side, but they also hold the poetic key to that occult inspiration to really bring all of those pieces together to make it more well-rounded, but also give you that much more of an experience as the listener. So for example, in tracks like Death of Day, the song starts out with lyrics that go like this. It spawned from the dregs, grown from primordial rot. 3 lines that immediately create an image in your head that's probably quite ominous, but most likely looks the way it does based off of your own experience and connections to fairyland. So you're the perceiver. You're the perceiver. You are. It encapsulates scene setting and storytelling without giving you all of the answers, allowing you to relate it to yourself. Makes you think. Big win. Don't come for me when I say this, because I think I'm just more or less throwing this into the ether as kind of like a half-baked thought. So Echolalia was on Remnants, and it was their song that just blew up. And I understand why, because I think, from my opinion, this song was very structurally standard. It was really clear in what it was. Intro, verse, chorus, bridge, outro, that ability to have that so clearly identifiable. Although that makes it inherently less nuanced and heavy, it did make a very interesting mix, and it did work in their benefit. So I recognize and understand that it was probably more digestible, and that was what took it to where it went. And there are tracks on Labrynthine that have identifiable chori or the latter aspects. However, it's so much more of a classic doom sound where the repetition a lot of the time comes in the riff work, and where songs structurally do not fixate on having to be or focusing on being catchy as the key focal point. And I suppose my thought is I'm just curious to see what they do going forward. If that is something that they continue to do, where they stick to that more like classic slow doom riff work repetition, or if they bring back that sort of like structural fixation on this is how we're going to write a song, we shall see. What a record. So I think this is the first album this year that's really done it for me. And Faetooth as a whole feels very honest and very genuine in what they're concocting. Eviscerate and October were huge highlight tracks on this album for me. There's something so deeply beautiful and sacred in there. I can't even describe it in words. Makes me cry, gives me goosebumps, makes me feel like my soul is going somewhere else. So realistically, they inspire me to want to sow my own seeds in my imaginative like guts and glory. And if that isn't what art and creative divination is meant to project and accomplish, then I don't know what else to tell you. So with that being said, I'm going to give Labrynthine a 4.75 out of 5 skulls today on Overkill Reviews. Shoutouts! First up, I have fantasy doom metalers Castle Rat with their second full-length album, The Bestiary, out September 19th, 2025 via King Volume Records. It's epic. The imagery that they have is always outstanding, and it does not lack in the realm of things like dragons and wizards and unicorns. So if that's the thing for you, then you're going to keep your eyes and your ears open for this one. Second up, I've got Boston's very own technical death metal band Revocation. They've got a new one out September 26th via Metal Blade Records. It's called New Gods, New Mastards. Mastards? Mastered was literally what I just said. New Gods, New Masters. And if you don't know Revocation already, I don't know where you've been all these years, because the 8 previous records I've all really enjoyed. for various different reasons. And honestly, I'm just interested to see where they keep going. Last, but certainly not least, I've got Crucible, who hail from Denmark. They are a speed metal band, and this is their first full-length album titled Hail to the Force. It's out September 12th, and you can catch it via From the Vaults. So the album cover reminds me of Ostrogoth's album Feelings of Fury if it had a baby with Judas Priest's Scream of the Vengeance cover. Anyways, fast and fun. Make sure to give it a listen. Thanks for coming to hang out with me, and I will catch you next time.